Sorry, today sir is not well. He's not available. So sir will not be taking the class. I'll try to fill the gap. Whatever I've learned from sir, I'll share with you. Sir said he cannot join. So who is Purna Chandran? Who is Purna Chandran? Co-host. Okay. We'll do one stuti from the Samesar commentary. Namaha Samesaraya स्वानुभूत्या चकासते चित्स्वभावाय भावाय सर्वभावान्तरचिदे. Now the first verse of Samesar. Bandittu savvasiddhe dhuvam achalam manovanam gadim patte Ochami samaya pahudam inamo sudakevali bhanidam. Jai Jinendra, everybody. So try to learn the meanings of these two stutis. One is Amrit Chandra Acharya's commentary, Manglacharan in Sanskrit, and the second one that I did was the Prakrit. But actually the first, the Prakrit was written, then the Sanskrit was written. Okay. Yeah, today I would like to summarize chapter 1 and chapter 2 for all of you. Before that, I would like to tell about one stuti. And then has Kashmira ma'am joined us? Yeah. Kashmira ma'am, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Jai Jinendra,
will you take?
Yes,
will,
ma'am.
have you? Yeah. So Kashmira ma'am also will be sharing her views on Samesar, and she'll be talking about the 47 Shaktis. An introductory part only. Okay, she cannot complete the whole thing. Only an introduction to it will be done. Because the concept of 47 Shaktis is spread throughout the text of Samesa. And it is an important concept in itself. Okay, so that she will be sharing with you. Am I audible to everybody?
Yes,
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 you are,
ma'am.
yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Now, those who are doing this Parmagam course, in their Vitrag Vigyan Pathmala Volume 3, last part is about Samesar Stuti. It's a very beautiful Stuti, and I don't remember the name of the author, the poet. You should find out, but it's a very beautiful Stuti. I'll only give you the summary of it. The detailing we do in the Paramagam class. If I read it over here, it will consume a lot of my time. But still, here and there, I'll say a few words. It goes like this. Sansari Jivo, the worldly beings who are caught in the cycle of transmigration, okay, to help the Sansari Jivas to come out of the cycle of transmigration, don't write anything, just enjoy this stuti. Afterwards, listen to the recording and write. You want to write, you can write, but don't worry, because I'll be going a little fast. You will not be able to catch up with what I'm telling. So here and there, if you can write, you write. But don't worry if you miss something. Please listen to the recording again and again and again. Okay, I'm translating the stuti as it is. Before me, it is the stuti is here. The Hindi translation is given, and I'm just reading the poetry and talking to it. Okay, so Sansari Jivo Bhava Marano. Bhava Maran means what? Not the leaving the body, that is Dravya Maran. Every moment we are dying to desires, to pleasures. That is called as Bhava Maran. We are not respecting the Bhava of the Atma, and we are taking to Moha Raga Dvesh. So that is called as Bhava Maran. So how this Bhava Maran we can overcome? For that, Prabhu Mahavir, Bhagwan Mahavir, he gave us the Sanjeevani. How Lakshman was on the deathbed and Hanuman got the Sanjeevani. Okay, Samyak Jeevan dene wali. That which can give you the right kind of life and living. That which can teach you the art of living, the science of living. So Prabhu Mahavir, he started the river of Sudha, of the Jinvani. Sarita Bhavi. See, we are dying because of the poison of Bhava. So we need the nectar of spirituality. So that nectar of spirituality, that river came from Prabhu Mahavir. Okay. And that river was drying up. That river of spirituality was drying up. So Kunda Kunda, Muni Kunda Kunda, he collected that Sanjeevani and he put it in the vessel of Samaysar and gave it to us. You understood what what this poet is trying to say? Huh? So that river of spirituality was dry. So Shoshati matlab sukh rahi thi, that river. So with lot of compassion and karuna in his heart, Muni Kunda Kunda took that Sanjeevani from Mahavidya Kshetra. It is not written Mahavidya Kshetra, but we know it from other sources. And he wrote this Samaya Prabhrit. Prabhrit means a gift. You have Ashtapahud. So Prabhrit is the Sanskrit word, Pahud is the Prakrit word. Ashtapahud. And Kashai Pahud is totally by a different author. I think Gunabhadra or so. Okay, so he gave us this Sanjeevani in the vessel of this Samay Pahud. Then the next verse, different chand they have used, you know, Hari Geetika chand, Anushtup chand. So you can beautifully sing it. So I'll give you the link of this stuti. You try to listen to it on YouTube, okay? So it will be there. Then what happened? Kunda Kunda wrote it. After 1000 years, Amrit Chandra Acharya wrote the Kalash. That is called as Sathya. Sathya means this Kalash. Kalash means, again, in Sanskrit, the 4 lines, like the Bhaktamar 4 lines you have, like that in 4 lines. So Kunda Kunda wrote in 2 lines in Prakrit. Amrit Chandra Acharya wrote in 4 lines, and in Sanskrit, he wrote the commentary on the Samaysar. Okay, and the poet says that Granthadi Raj, the Samaysar is the king of all the scriptures. In this scripture, the essence of the whole universe is there. Brahmand na bharya, Tarama. Tarama means in you. The essence of the whole universe is, you can find it. Okay. Then next what they say is this, now they are going, first they praised Bhagwan. Then they praise the gurus. Now they are going to talk about the Shastra. What they are telling, Aho Vani Tari Prashamaras. Oh, this Vani of Kunda Kunda Acharya Dev is the one that gives the Prashamaras. Now what is this Prashamaras? Every moment it is the Kashai Ras. Okay, the Kashai that is working. The Kashai ka Shama. Prakrish Roop se Shama. Shama means now they are not operating. They have been subsided, not suppressed. Suppression is a total negative concept. They have subsided. That means they are not working right now. They are not operating now. So this Vani of Kunda Kunda is full of that Shantaras. Now Sanskrit literature, Hindi literature, Prakrit literature, they talk of the Navarasas. When you go and watch a movie, there will be Navarasas in it. Like Veera Ras. That movie should kindle the spirit of bravery or courage. Then there may be one ugly scene. So you have a disgusting feeling. So that is called Jugupsa Ras. Then there will be romance. So that is Shringara Rasa. Okay, there will be a what to say, mother and daughter, mother and child scene. So which will kindle your spirit of compassion, Vatsalya. So like this, you know, there are so many rasas, and one of them is Shanta Rasa. So when you look at the Tirthankar Pratimas, it is full of Shanta Rasa. That is a Vitaraga Bhava, that is a Shanta Rasa. So the poet says that in this Shastra, you find the Prashama Rasa Bhava. That river, no, is full of the Prashama Rasa Bhava. So when you read the verses of Samaysar, you will be filled with Prashama Rasa. You will be filled with peace. You'll be filled with spirituality, where your Kashai will subside. Okay. Now, who will drink from this nectar? Who will drink from this river of Samaysar? Then he says it is Mumukshu. It is a person who desires liberation will take the Samrit Rasa and he will drink it Anjali bhar bhar ke. This is called Anjali, no? Anjali, Pushpanjali, Shraddhanjali. So in the madri vaaritte, they will drink this. Who will drink it? Only the mumukshu will take it. And then what will happen when he drinks it? What will happen? Anadi kal se, whatever murcha, ignorance, perversion, delusion is there, that fever will go off instantaneously. Are you able to imagine what I'm telling? Are you able to imagine? Thank you, Ashok sir, for switching on your video, looking at you and talking, Ashok sir. Okay. So anadi kal ki jo murcha hai, that will twarati utarti. Twarati means if you read Samesar, the way it is told, and you have faith in it, your fever of your delusion that is killing you every day can go. Now with this corona time, we are all running for the vaccine. So here Amrit Chandra Acharya, no, the poet has given us the vaccine of Samesar, by which not only this birth corona, a delusion of this birth, but Janma Janma, Anadi Kal ki Murcha can go. Then what will happen once you drink this? When drink here means it's all symbolic. There's no Samesar river that you have to go and drink it. This text is the river, and you have to take each verse and absorb it and take it inside. Have faith in it, live it. Then what will happen? Vibhaveti thambi. This will help you to detach from the vibhava. Vibhava means non-self. And swarup bhani dode parina. Now your bhava will go towards the self, and it will not go after the non-self. Okay, so you should read this poetry in the language in which it is written. It is so beautiful. It is so beautiful. The day we read it, oh my God, it was heaven, you know. I can't, heaven is also a small word. It's so beautiful. Now what the poet is telling to the text of Samesar. Tuche Nishchay Grantha. This Samesar talks from the Nishchay point of view. You are a pure soul. You are like Siddha Bhagwan. You are the Gyayak Bhav. There is no karma, kashai, etc., etc. in you. So this Grantha talks from the Nishchay point of view, and it what to say? It pierces all the Vyavahara Bheda. I am Gati, I am Jati, I have Kashai, I have Karma. All that Vyavahar is exploded. It goes to the dogs. All these Vyavahar ke Bhed. We all are Siddha Bhagwan. He declares. Tu pragya chini gyan ne udayani sandhi sahu bhedam. This Samesar, write down one word. Very beautiful word. Pragya Cheni. There is one app on Samesar from Keval Gyan channel. Beautiful app it is. Somebody take that app and do it in Tamil, do it in English. It's such a beautiful app. All the chapters of Samesar are there with beautiful images, but they are all with the Prakrit verses and with the Hindi translation. So the Hindi speaking people can access it. The Tamil speaking people can simply see it and see what you can do with it. Contact the the producers and try to put it in Tamil so that it can go to the people. I want one of our students to do it. So Saurabh Shastri and one more Shastri, I think from Indore, again from Indore, they have done it. So Keval Gyan channel, go and search for Samesar app. Kajal, if you can help them with the app link. Okay, Kajal? And Kashmira, Kajal, anybody can help, okay? Anybody can help anybody. Okay. So, to Pragya, now this talks about Pragya Cheni. I'll write that word for you on the board if I'm the host. Yes, I'm the host. Yeah, it is like this. Pragna. Okay, Pragna, Pragya. And the next word is Cheni. Okay, now what is this Pragya Cheni? Kajal will like to say what is Pragya Cheni, Kajal?
Yes, ma'am.
Please inform.
The power of discrimination, Bhed Vigyan. Cheni means the hammer, and Pragna means the power of knowledge. or the power of Bhed Vigyan, through which you will discriminate between the body and the soul.
Yeah. Now listen carefully. I will like to ask you one question, all of you. How does a sculptor make a sculpture? I think in one previous class also I asked you. How does the sculptor make a sculpture?
He
By
removes
taking
all
the
the unwanted things is being.
unwanted stuff. Okay. Otherwise, people will say many things, you know. So we are all in advanced level, so need not go into those details. So a sculpture will take a material, say like definitely it will be a stone or a granite or whatever material he will take, and he'll have one vision in his mind, and he will try to give shape to that stone, that vision that is there in his mind. It could be Mahavir, it could be Parshva, it could be Saraswati, it could be Grandpa, it could be, let us say, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, anything. So it will be an irregular stone or a regular stone, whatever it is. And what does he do? According to his vision, he will remove the unwanted stuff. So what he is doing, he's separating from what he wants from what he doesn't want. Right? He's separating
Correct, ma'am.
what he wants from what he doesn't want. So when he removes it, what he gets what he wants. He gets the image that he wants, right? First, the image was there in his gyan. It was there in his vision. It was there in his faith that this image is there in the stone. He sees it. He sees the image in the stone. He sees the image in the stone. Okay, and then he removes all the unwanted stuff. Then a beautiful image emerges. So what he has done, he has taken the chisel and the hammer. So the chisel and hammer is called as cheni. The chisel, he's chiseling out and he's hammering that stone, and he's removing all that he doesn't want. Then a beautiful nose, a beautiful eye, a beautiful pair of eyes, etc., emerge from the stone. Okay, in the same way, this Atma is that irregular stone in which a regular Paramatma is hidden. Okay, very crude examples. You don't take it as it is, but try to understand. So Atma is a perfect one, but it is with all the impurities, with all the 18 doshas. Hunger, sleep, anxiety, raga, dvesha, all this if you remove, what will emerge is an Arihanta Paramatma. You don't have to become Siddha. You don't have to become Arihant. You are already one. You have to manifest it. No use you being like Siddha Bhagwan. You have to manifest it. If you don't manifest it, then you're not valuing it. So that is why it transmigrates in the fourfold transmigratory cycle. Okay, so you understood the pragya and here the chisel and the hammer is called as the cheni. Now in spirituality, it is the pragya cheni, the wisdom by which you chisel out all the unwanted stuff and you get what you want, the pure soul. You don't have to become a pure soul. You are already a pure soul. But you don't know about it. You don't have faith in it. You're not able to visualize. You're not able to see with your divine eyes, with the inner eyes of pragya. Pragya means gyan. Prakrishta gyan is pragya. Prakrishta gyan is pragya. Okay, prakrishta means what? Highest order, supreme gyan. That is, I am a pure soul. I am a divine soul. I am the Gyayak Bhav. Like that. Okay. And then what will happen? All the bheda of gati, jati, karma, kashai, everything will explode. Then the poem goes like this. Sathi sadhakanu. Oh, Samesar is a companion of the sadhak, of the aspirant. And you are the sun. You are like the sun in the spiritual world. And you are the message of Mahavir. This is how he is eulogizing Samesar. You understand what I'm trying to say? Are you all able to understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Then what will happen? Visamo hridayano tu panta mukti. So you give us Vishram. Vishram means complete rest from the Bhava Klanta, from the transmigratory cycle. You give us complete rest and you are the path of moksha. Samaysar is nothing but the path of moksha. The path of moksha begins with the understanding of the concept of Samaysar that is hidden in the text of Samaysar. You understood what I'm trying to say? Okay, next one. Next, see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In 6 chand he has written, 6 chand, no? He's repeated 1 chand. So 5 chand. So the music will be different. The tune will be different for all of these, and you will find the translation of this in the Tamil version of this book. Beetrag Vigyan, Pathmala, volume 3. The Tamil version, ask Lata Ravichandran, they will give it to you. Okay, I'm sorry I could not get it from them because I'm not sharing the Hindi or the English. So English version will be with Shobha madam. In Tamil version will be with Lata madam. So if you don't get it, ask me, I will get it. Otherwise, you can help yourself. You all are good enough to help yourself and help each other. I have trust in that. Okay, chalo. Next, what they say, once you listen to Samaysar, Suni Tane, Rasa Nibandha Shithilathai. There are 4 types of bondage: Prakriti, Sthiti, Anubhag, Pradesh. The nature of bondage is, you all have studied, no, metaphysics? Prakriti, nature of
Yes, ma'am.
bondage. Sthiti, duration of bondage. Anubhag, intensity of bondage. Pradesha, the quantum of bondage. So, when you listen to Samaysar, the poet says, your intensity of bondage will become loose. You won't bind intense karma. The previously bound intensely karma, the karma intensity also becomes shithil. Shithil means loose. Like for example, the knot in the thread is very tight. Then you keep opening, you keep opening, you keep opening, it becomes loose, and then finally you open it. Likewise, the knot of perversion, the knot of mithyatva, you keep opening through the spiritual wisdom. Then that knot of bondage, mithyatva will go. So first, it will not go in one instant. First, it becomes loose, shithil. Then only it goes. So the knot in the thread is of the thread only, no? Likewise, in our knowledge only, all the knots are there. In our knowledge only, we have to do all the corrections. You understand what I'm telling? Okay. Okay. Now, so when somebody listens to Samaysar, then his moha, his delusion, and his raga dvesha, his intensity of bondage, bandha, will decrease. Janiye tane hriday gyan. Once you know what is the concept of Samaysar, you will know the mind of a jnani. Light laga dijiye sir. Please. Okay, Jane Tane. When you know what is Samaysar, you will know the heart of a jnani. What is going on in the mind of a jnani? What is going on in the soul of a jnani? You will know. What is going on in Siddha Bhagwan? You will know. What is going on in Aryan Bhagwan? You will know. What is going on in the mind, not minds, in the personality of Acharyas, Upadhyayas, Sadhus, you will know. Not until then. Tu ruchita jagatani ruchi alasis. Oh, the more you like Samaysar, you will, the liking for your samsar will decrease. The liking, the attachment, that preoccupation with material pursuits will decrease. Tu rijita sakala gyayak deva rije. And what happens is, when you experience what is told in Samaysar, it is as if all the jnanis are blessing you. They are all pleased with you. Okay? Okay. Sampurna Swabhav Wala. That is also one thing. And he says, when you are pleased with Samaysar, your Atma will be pleased with you. All the Gyayak Bhav, the Jnani Bhagwans will be pleased with you. And last verse, it says, if I were to make what? Paper or letter, paper of gold. And if I were to write letters with pearls and diamonds and rubies, still I will not be able to tell you the value of what Kunda Kunda has written. That's all. That important, that beautiful this text is. Can I have your response, people? What you have understood from this poem? Can you all switch on your videos, please? It's a big, big, big thing that we are all trying to learn Samesar, read Samesar, read Pravachan.
This is Purna Chandran. Good morning,
Yes,
ma'am.
Purna Chandran, sir. Yes, Purna Chandran.
See, you have told that you chisel out from your daily samsara atma into become a paramatma with the use of samaistara that makes you a jnani.
Okay, okay. You have given your response. Okay, okay, okay. Thank you, Purna Chandran, sir. Where are you from, sir? Hello. 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 Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else who would like to record their response to this poem? Such a beautiful poem, and I've done total justice to it. What did you like about it? Can you all unmute yourself and talk for a minute?
Absolutely, madam. This is fantastic. Actually, it took me to the journey of what was going on behind the mind of that Jnani and their Atma, the Anubhav, what he probably has gone through. Lovely poem, and then it make us to understand things much easily by giving example of the sculpture and the carving. So that's fantastic. Thing.
Yes, yes. Anybody else? Quickly, one more person if I can take.
Ma'am, initially the poem started very beautifully saying that every minute we have this Bhav Maran. And now it explains how to come out of this transmigratory cycle and how important is Samaisar for our soul. So that is beautifully explained, ma'am.
Yeah. Shri, yes, Dharma Shri, beautifully said. Yes, anybody else who would like to say? I want to see if you all are there in the class today. Let me have your darshan at least.
Yes, ma'am.
Vinoda, I can see.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, it says that it is there within you. You just remove the unwanted things and you can manifest. That is wonderful, ma'am.
Wait, I will make a correction to what you say or an addition to what you say. You don't have to remove it. It will go. When you light the lamp, the darkness will go. You work on lighting the lamp.
Yes.
You work on lighting the lamp. Don't try to remove things. That is the essence of the Karta Karm chapter, which we are going to do. Yes, anybody else? Or shall I move again to the next level? Okay, you all can switch off your videos and now take the text of Samesar, the red book. Kajal, have you done the annexures with them, Kajal?
Few of them, ma'am. Those came along with the gathas.
Okay. How do I know what you have done and what you have not done?
Sixfold causation. And I want you to take once again, ma'am, if possible.
Okay. So evening you will take, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You will continue with where you're doing.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Chalo. So last class, till which verse sir told you people? Till verse, Kajal, kahan tak karaya tha sir ne?
Yes, ma'am.
192, madam.
No. Verse number. Chapter 1, verse number.
Verse number 6.
6 tak hi karaya hai kya?
Yes,
I thought. Okay. 1 second. Yes, I will do it in my style quickly so that the continuity is there. A quick brief, wrap up of what sir did in the last class. One of you switch on your video, please. Any one of you, yeah. Ashok sir, if you're not comfortable, you can put it in the chat box if you want somebody to switch on the video.
I'm fine, madam.
Okay, so fine. So in verse 1, Acharya Kunda has bowed down to all the Siddha Bhagwans. Not all the Siddha Bhagwan. He's bowed down to the potential Siddha Bhagwan also. That means all the Jivas. Vandittu Savva Siddhe. And particularly all the Siddha Bhagwan who have ascended to that ultimate state of Dhruv, the eternal state, Achal, Anupam. It is unparalleled, not comparable with anything in the material world. And I'm going to give you this gift of Samaya Sara, Samaya Prabhrit, which has been revealed by the Shruta Kevalis. That is the meaning of the first verse. Then he says, now he says, what is Samaya? The Jiva, which is absorbed in the Charitra Darshana Gnan. Gyan means knowing the self. Darshan, believing in the self. Charitra, being in the self. That time it is Swasamaya. When it is not absorbed in the Ratnatraya, this is the Ratnatraya. This is Ratna. We tell that these pearls and rubies are Ratna. But Bhagwan is telling that when you look at your pure soul, that is Ratna. And when you're not looking at your pure soul, you are engaged in the Ratna of the world. That Ratna could be water, that could be food, that could be air, that could be flowers, that could be sweets, that could be anything. So somebody is very beautifully said that Annam Jalam Ratnam, Subhashitam Ratnam. Only mood people say that Ratna is a Ratna. Actually, in the material world, food is a jewel. Jewel means a very important thing, supposing you're a very poor, and if you get a jewel, you can become rich. Now you're hungry. What jewel? Can you take all the jewels and satisfy your hunger? That Midas story, King Midas, whatever he touched, food is important. So that Annam, Jalam, Subhashitam, Tindi Ratnani of the earth, food, water, and good words. They are the three Ratnas. Only fools call these rubies and pearls as Ratnas. So here in this spiritual context, they are telling that Samyak Darshan, Gyan, Charitra are the three jewels. When you are wearing those three jewels, that time you are in Swasamaya. And when you are in the Pudgal Karma Pradesha Sthita, then you are in Parasam. When you are engaged in Moha Raga Dvesha, then you are in Parasamaya. Okay. Next he says, third verse, that I am going to show you the beautiful Atma. Okay. Oneness with the soul is the most beautiful thing in the world. But if we try to mix up things and say no, like the Jiva has got Gati, Jiva has got Jati, Jiva has got Karma, Kashai, this mixing up story of the soul, no, it will lead only to karmic bondage and conflicts in life. I'm not interested in talking about that. I'm only going to talk about the oneness with the self. You understood the idea of Kunda Kunda? Okay. First he told, no, that when you come in yourself only, you're in Swasamaya. Other than that, you are not in Swasamaya. So how to come in Swasamaya? So oneness with the self, he is going to teach us. Now, fourth he says, now so somebody asks him, why are you talking about oneness with the self? First talk about bondage, talk about liberation, talk about suffering, how Buddha spoke about suffering. No, so first talk about suffering. Then he says that Sudha Parichida Anubhuta. Sudha means listening. Parichita means familiar. Anubhuta means experienced. All the jivas in this world know the path of enjoying the pleasures. They know what bondage is. They know what suffering is. So I'm not going to talk about it because this Kama Bhoga Bandha Katha has been heard by everybody. They are all familiar with it. They have all experienced it. But oneness with the soul, this story has not been heard by the people, and this is not easily accessible, easily available. So I'm going to talk about the ultimate thing. Am I useful for all of you? Is my Samaya class helping you?
Yes, yeah. Ma'am, very much, ma'am.
Yeah. Next one. Then he says, I am very methodologically going to tell you how to have the oneness with the self, the uniqueness of the self and the oneness of the self. I'm going to teach you. But if you miss it, don't be cheated. You be careful. You be alert. I'll do my best to give it to you. You don't take it otherwise. Otherwise, you will go back to the Nigod. You'll go back to Nigod. Who is going to save you over there? So understand the self and enjoy the oneness with the self and liberate yourself. Don't be drowned in a pool of misery. If you miss from my understand, from my revelations, then that is your problem. I'm going to do my best. Okay. Now the story starts. The 6th verse. What is the pure soul? Who are you? Who am I? He says, you are neither apramatta nor pramatta. You are neither sleeping, you are neither awake. You are what? Only a knower. Gyayak Bhav. So this 6th verse is very, very important. I can read in Prakrit and explain in Prakrit, but you don't know Prakrit. So again, we will not be able to cover the portions. For that reason only, I'm not doing it in Prakrit. But once you all finish your 2 years MA, we can surely start a series of lectures in Prakrit language on Samasa. Each and every word we can do it. So all of you learn the Prakrit language. Learn Sanskrit. These are the 2 languages in which these great acharyas have written the beautiful texts. Okay. Then he declares that the pure self is of the nature of knower. You can read the translation from this book as I'm giving. From this book only I'm seeing the gathas and you can see the translation. Okay. Navi hodi appamatto, apramatta. See, you know the 14 gunasthanas. 1 to 6 are pramatta gunasthanas. 7 and above are apramatta gunasthan. So you are beyond gunasthan. There is no gunasthan for Siddha Bhagwan. Okay, the Mithya Drishti gunasthan is first gunasthan. Aryanta Bhagwan gunasthan is 13th, 14th gunasthan. Siddha Bhagwan is beyond gunasthan. So you are also beyond gunasthan. When you don't understand your nature of being beyond gunasthan, you will be caught in this gunasthan cycle. Understood? All of you understood? Okay, yeah. Next one. He says, 7th verse. From the Vyavahara point of view, we say it is Darshan Gyan Charitra. But in the Gyayak Bhav, in the pure soul, that Gyayak Bhav, it is neither Darshan nor Gyan nor Charitra. It is a unity of all the 3. It is a unity of all the 3. From Vyavahar point of only, we will say. Like for example, when you look at your mother, will you say she is my father's wife? She is my tata's daughter? Huh? Will you have all these kind of, no, she's mother, mother is mother. You won't have all these vehicles. Likewise, when you look at the pure soul, you can't think in terms of, oh, I'm looking at the pure soul, this is darshan, this is gyan, this is charita. Then you cannot enjoy the Gyayak Bhav. Okay? When you look at the Gyayak Bhav, darshan, gyan, charita will happen. That they will be samyak. So which is more important? Samyak darshan is important or the Gyayak Bhav is important?
The Gyayak Bhav, ma'am.
Okay, now I'll tell you. Neither the Gyayak Bhav is important, nor Samyak Darshan is important. You valuing the Gyayak Bhav is only important. Because Gyayak Bhav is, you're eternally Gyayak Bhav. But you have never valued it. And I want Samyak Darshan, but you don't know the way of it. So both are not important. When you understand the value of Gyayak Bhav, only then it is of any use to you. Otherwise, it is of no use. Siddha Bhagwan valued it, they became Siddha. Those who value it become Samyak Drishti. Those who will never value it, they are Abhavi. Those who can value it and still do not value, they are Mithya Drishti. You understood? Understood? You are Gyayak Bhav, whether you value or not. But you want Samyak Darshan, which is the fruit of valuing the Gyayak Bhav. Now, what is Gyayak Bhav? We will study in Pravachan Sar and other texts. Okay. Now the question the person is asking, why are you talking of so much of Vyavahar when the Gyayak Bhav is important? Talk only of the Gyayak Bhav. Now, why are you talking of Darshan, Gyan, Charitra, etc.? Then he says, supposing you all must have seen that Coca-Cola ad, no? One person, he is dumb and he comes from a tribal area. He's just having one piece of cloth on his body, a young chap, and he sees the lightning of the city. He sees the lightning of the city, and the advertisement is sort of like this, but not completely like this. He sees the beautiful lights and the let us say, all the hustle and bustle of a city life. He comes from a tribal area and he is dumb. He's seen the beauty of the city. Okay, there the Coca-Cola part, I'm leaving it. Okay, now he goes to the village and they ask him what he saw. How he'll go and explain to them what he saw? The tribal people have never seen a light. How he's dumb. He's dumb. He cannot talk. But he's filled with the awe of the city life, the hustle and bustle, the lights and the traffic and the fashion and all these. You know, you can say it was like Las Vegas, huh? Or Hollywood or Disneyland. Somewhere he went and he came. Please mute everybody. So how is he going to go and explain to them? Why my voice is like?
I think he'll give them a bottle of Coca-Cola, and the experience they get out of it is that lightning that he saw in the town.
Yeah. So how much ever he tries to explain to them, will he succeed in telling them totally about the experience? No. Likewise, even Aryan Sat Bhagwan cannot tell the experience of the pure soul. Even their speech fails them. They cannot, because it is inexpressible. Like, for example, you have had you've seen a beautiful movie and you want to explain it to me, ma'am, how beautiful that movie is. Then you'll say, ma'am, I cannot explain it, ma'am. You go and see it, ma'am. You'll end up saying that. No, same way. Aryan Sat Bhagwan are telling, we cannot explain to you. You go and experience it and you understand how beautiful it is. Even 1,000 suns cannot match the brilliance of the pure soul. Because who is the one who is seeing the 1,000 suns? That they are 1,000, they are 2,000, they are 500, 100. It's you. The drishta is more important than the drishya. The seer is more important than the seen. And we have never valued the seer. That is why we are caught in the samsara. That's all, for no other reason. So here he says, now if that person, now let us say that person has got the speech and he has seen the beautiful world. How he is going to explain to those people? The taste of Coca-Cola, how he is going to explain to those people? He has to take examples from the daily life of those tribal people. Like say, he will take Gudka Pani, Bellam Tanni, and he'll say it is as tasty as this. But is Coca-Cola equal to Gudka Pani? Bellam
Not at
Tanni?
all.
No, it is different. But the Anarya people have got no exposure to Coca-Cola. They have exposure only to Bellam Tanni. So he has to use those examples to drive home that it is 100 times better than this. Actually, Coca-Cola is not better than Gudka Pani. If you ask me, Gudka Pani is better than Coca-Cola. But in this example, I'm trying to tell. So he has to, now here the same thing is telling in verse 8. Just as you cannot preach to a Anarya in the language of a learned person, you have to use the language of the person that he is. Only then you can drive home the concept or the understanding to that person. Okay, I'll give another simple example. I go to Spain and I want to teach Samaysar over there. Can I teach in Prakrit? Can I teach in English? Can I teach in Hindi or Tamil?
Only in Spanish, ma'am.
Only in Spanish. So you have to use the language of the barbarian or the Anarya. Only then you can communicate with them. Likewise, we are all Anarya, barbarians. We don't know the understanding of the pure soul. So to teach us, they have used the language of Darshan, Gyan, Charitra. Without using Darshan, Gyan, Charitra, you cannot catch the concept of Gyayak Bhav. That is why he is talking in the Vyavhara language to drive home the message of the Nishchay. Understood? 8th verse, all of you? Can I go to the next verse? I'm not going
Yes,
to
ma'am.
do all the verses for you. I'm trying to do some so that you get a hang of the text. I'll be skipping some verses here and there. Okay, now 9th verse tells us that those who have experienced the pure soul based on the knowledge of the scriptures are called Shruta Kevali. And those who experience it directly, they are called as Kevali. When you know the pure soul through direct experience, then that is Kevali. But reading the scriptures and you understand the pure soul as it is, then you are a Shruta Kevali. You means the person is Shruta Kevali. A Muni only can be a Shruta Kevali, nobody else. Not all Munis also. They should be well versed in all the Agamas and they should be Samyak Drishti. Then they are called Shruta Kevalis. So this Shruta Kevalis have preached this knowledge. That means what? They have heard it from the Kevalis. They have got it. So it is authentic. It is not a bluff. It is not a imaginary thing. It's a real thing. So he's giving authority. Who is that? Like, for example, I say, I have a treasure in my house. Will you believe it? You'll ask, ma'am, what is the proof? How will you authenticate things? So he's authenticating and he's telling, so those who have complete knowledge, they are Shruta Kevali, because knowledge of the scripture should lead to the knowledge of self and thereby help you in liberation. Okay, now he's giving us the key to open the treasure of Samesa. He says that there are two viewpoints, the Vyavahara, the Nishchay. The Vyavahara is called the empirical viewpoint and the Nishchay is called the real viewpoint. For example, a gold bangle. Is it gold or bangle? Is it gold or bangle? From the real viewpoint, it is gold.
It's a, yes.
But for Vyavahar purpose, you are using it as a bangle. They are not two separate things. They are in one only, they both are there. In the same way, this Vyavahara is a Bhutartha and the Nishchay is Bhutartha, is real. So leave the Vyavahar. Leave the Vyavahar means ignore the Vyavahar. Understand the Nishchay. After the Nishchay of Nishchay, the real Vyavahar will begin. Without the understanding of pure soul, you do Samaik, you do Pratikraman, you do Vrat, Tap, Niyam, Uppas, all that will go in the account of Punya only. But when you understand the pure soul, and then you take to Vrat, Niyam, Uppas, etc., that will be on the path of Moksha. That will lead you on the path of Moksha. So take shelter in the Nishchay viewpoint and rejoice in it. Then your real Vyavahar will begin. Okay? Yeah. So read those verses. And then he says, from the Vyavahara point of view, there are 9 tattvas, 9 reals. Verse number 13. Jiva, Ajiva, Punya, Papa, Asrava, Samvara, Nirjara, Bandha, Moksha. Know them as they are. And try to see the Atma Jyoti that is hidden in the 9 tattvas. Now, the 7 tattvas order in Tattvartha Sutra is different. In Samesar, it is different. There they give the order as Jiva, Ajiva, Asrava, Bandha. Then comes Samvar, Nirjara, Moksha. There they want to tell you about the Moksha Marga. Here, they want to tell you about the play of these 9 tattvas. So the Samesar is written in the form of a play, where all these 9 tattvas will come and do their drama, do their role play. So I am a soul and what I'm doing is a role. I'm doing the role of a teacher, I'm doing the role of a mother, etc. But I am a pure soul. Okay, so what they're trying to say is, they want to show you the play of this 9 tattvas and who is the pure soul, the one who is seeing the play of the 9 tattvas. So I am pure soul, which is different from the Jiva, which is different from Moksha, which is different from Bandha, etc. So he is going to first talk about the Jiva and Ajiv Adhikar. Okay, to explain the Jiva and Ajiv Adhikar, he is going to talk about the Karta Karma Adhikar. Okay, so now come the chapters of Samesa. All of you note down. 1 second, I'll get my book. If I have it over here, I don't know if I have it. Yeah, all of you note down the summary of Samesar. Not note down, I'm just giving you some points here and there. After that, you only have to build it up. If you don't write well, we will not give you more than 50 marks. We have to give you 50 marks and pass you, but we'll not give you more than 50, 60 marks if you don't impress us with your writing, with your homework and all that. Okay, so write down. Wait. I'll get it. Huh. So first comes the Jiva Adhikar, and it goes from before the Jiva Adhikar, it is the Purva Rang, prelude to Samesar. That goes up to verses. Kitne verse tak hai? You can see it up to 30, up to 38. This is the prelude to Samesar. This is like the curtain raiser. This is like the curtain raiser. Then on the stage come the Jeev and Ajeev, and they play their role. That goes from verse number 38 to 39 to, you can see it, okay? 39 to Kajal aap batate jao. It goes up to 68. Now this Jiva Ajeev Adhikar, no, Jiva Ajeev, no, Adhikar means chapter. They come and play the role. Then what they do, you know, they take the guise matlab vesha parivartan, vesh badalkar, maravesham, correct? In Tamil is okay, wow.
Yes, ma'am, it's correct.
Maravesham is correct.
Yeah.
They take the maravesham of karta karm and they come. So what is this karta karm? Beautifully they explain from verse number 69 and it goes up to
144.
144. Now, then no, the interplay between Jeev and Ajeev leads to Punya and Papa. That interplay is of the nature of Punya and Papa, not leads to, it is of the nature of Punya and Papa. Now, I will explain the summary of each chapter later on, okay? Then that goes from 145 to 163. So when this Punya Papa, the Jiva is taking to Punya and Papa, what happens? Asrava. Then the Asrava comes and plays the role. What is Asrava? That character he is defining it. So that goes from 164 to 180, just very little verses. But more of this Asrava you will find in Karta Karmatika. Beautifully told, you know. Next. When this Asrava is there, Asrava is what? Bondage, the Jeev and Ajeev together. Now what to do? You have to separate it. How to separate it? That is told from 181 to that Pragya, Cheni, everything more, 192. So when you take to Samvar, when you take to the stoppage of karma, that will lead to Nirjara. Without Samvar, Nirjara is happening, but that is called as Akama Nirjara, which is happening even for a tree, even for a plant, even for a insect, even for heavenly beings. Every moment bondage and Nirjara is happening. Bandha and Nirjara are happening. But that Samvar has not set in. So the real Nirjara has not happened. So partial annihilation of karma without bondage is called Nirjara. Okay, so that Nirjara chapter goes from 193 to 236. 236. In these verses, he is going to explain that concept. Now, if this Nirjara does not happen, the Jiva will be in the state of bondage. So that's Bandha Adhikar, 237. It goes up to Bandha chapter 287. And beautiful pictures are there in the book. Read those pictures, explain those pictures. Then, once the Bandha has been removed, what happens eventually? Who comes and plays a role? Moksha. So that goes from 288 to 307. What happens in Moksha? What happens in Moksha? That is explained in chapter 9. How moksha happens? Throughout, what is the Jiva? What is that pure soul? Irrespective of these 9 tattvas, what is the pure soul? That is explained in chapter 9, Sarva Vishuddha Jnana Adhikar, complete pure knowledge. That goes from 308 to 415.
415.
The biggest chapter. Sarva Vishuddha Jnana Adhikar. What is this pure soul? What is this pure complete knowledge? What is this Gyayak Bhav? All those are told in chapter 9. And there is one picture given over here. You can see this image over here. So this is the pure soul with the 47 energies. When you say simply pure soul, without knowing these 47 energies, you know your mother, but you don't know the description. Okay, there's one very beautiful story in our Paramagam course that one child, no, one small child, let us say 2-year-old child, is lost in the what do you call it?
Yes, ma'am. Porulkachi only. Exhibition.
Porulkachi. Yeah.
Okay, so one child is lost over there. He doesn't know the name of his parents. So the somebody traces him and they bring him to the police, and now the police is asking him, who is your mother? He'll say, Amma. Amma is my mother. Who is your Appa? Appa is my Appa. Now can the police help this fellow? Now tell me, the child knows the mother and father or not?
The child knows, ma'am.
Yes,
knows. He knows.
Is it of any use for him?
Oh, no.
So he has to know the details also, no?
Yes.
So and so is my mother, so is my address, so is my phone number. Then the police will locate and they will unite both of them, no? Likewise, you know that you are a pure soul, but you don't know the details. So you cannot have the unity with the pure soul. You will remain in that Porulkachi. You cannot go home of moksha.
Very nice example, ma'am.
Understood. So this details is more important, and we'll do the details of each chapter. I'll try to give you and quickly come back to the verses. See, we cannot do justice to Samayasar in these 3 months. We can only help you start with the text. You should keep reading it. And I have been reading this Samayasar from 1997. And it's 23 years, and I will say I have not mastered it. I'm on the way of mastering it. I have started. I've started because after reading all this, my mind is full of all these things on. Nothing else comes to my mind. Nothing else comes to my mind. Even if it comes, it is a role play. It is a tasrav, it is a punya, it is a papa that is making me do, but I am only a pure. Just enjoy, rejoice, be happy, ever be happy. Every jiva wants to be happy. Be happy, every moment be happy. See that nothing in the material world puts you down. So this fear of corona, no, it is not setting inside me only. So my people are worried. Are you are bindas, you are doing things, you're not at all scared. They want to instill the fear in you. But my mind is not at all getting the fear. Even if I get corona, I don't think I'll be fearful. Why? Because that corona is going to affect my body and not my pure soul, which is beyond all this. I am the Gyayak Bhav. You understood what I'm trying to. I don't know the Gyayak Bhav, but I know about it a little. The experience of, see, what it is actually, that will happen only in Samyak Darshan, in Keval Gyan, whatever it is. When that has to happen, let it happen. When moksha is to happen, let it happen. When bandha has to go, let it go. When punya pap has to come, let it come. I am not bothered. I am beyond all this. I am like Siddha Bhakta. You understand what I'm trying to say? And keep researching about it. Don't just enjoy it. That will become Shushka Gyan. That will become Shushka Gyan. Like Srimad says, or we'll be Kriya Jad or Shushka Gyan. Shushka Gyan means we are intellectually talking about it, but we are not rejoicing in it. Or we are taking to the dharmic kriyas, but we are not knowing the purpose behind it. We do not know the actual way of it. Then it is Kriya Jad, Jad ki Kriya. Eating food, not eating food, it is Jad Kriya. It is Jada Kriya. Eating food, okay. Not eating food, common factor is food only. But without knowing the pure soul, Upa Vasa, Upa means near, Vasa means to be near the pure soul. but you have no knowledge of the pure soul. How you'll be near it? So get the knowledge of the pure soul. One upvas is enough for moksha. One samayik is enough for moksha, but that should be right. That should be right. That should be with samyak darshan, samyak gyan. Without samyak darshan, samyak gyan, how many hours? See, not that I don't do my samayik. I do my samayik. And try to learn how to do the right samayik and have the bhav of diksha, have the bhav of renunciation. That one bhav of renunciation, no, will help you overcome so much of bondage, so much of papa, so much of asrava, so much of materialistic tendencies, everything. Okay, so this is how I am applying Samaysar in my life, and this Samaysar has changed the life of so many people. If I were to tell you that it was Kunda Kunda who told us who Mahavir is. It was Amrit Chandra Acharya who told us who Mahavir and Kunda Kunda are. And then in recent times, it was Todarmalji, Kanji Swami, all these people who opened the Samaysar for us. Otherwise, it was lost, it was buried. It was there in pockets. People were not knowing about it. Neither the Digambars knew about it, nor the Shvetambars knew about it. But nowadays, ghar ghar mein Samaysar you can listen. So many people are knowing about Samaysar. And I'll give you the story of Kanji Swami. See, I'm not a follower of Kanji Swami or Todarmalji or anybody. If I were to say any guru, if I follow, it is Kunda Kunda. Not any Digambar or Shvetambar, no. The pure soul. Whoever talks about pure soul, I follow. Whether it is Amrit Chandra Acharya, whether it is Srimad, whether it is Kunda Kunda, no person is important. The personality of Godhood, which is preached by these people, is important. That is more important. So Kanji Swami, he was a Shvetambar Muni, a towering personality who lived just 100 years ago. Recently, only 1970s or 80s only he died. And he was a Shvetambar Muni at the age of 40 or so. He was a towering personality. He was giving discourses. He was a master of all the Shvetambar Agamas. And but he was searching for something. He was not happy with what he was doing and what he was having. He was always telling the Guru, I'm searching for something. I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it. And once it so happened, they went to a village for Chaturmas or whatever it is. They were passing that way. And he came across Samaysar. And what he was searching, he found in Samaysar. He locked himself in a underground basement kind of a thing. For 3 full days, he read the whole of Samaysar. He absorbed it. And it was an eye-changing thing. And what he was searching for, the real Jainism, the pure Jainism, he got it. And he came out and he told the Guru that I cannot continue as a Shvetambar Muni. Because the pure soul is totally detached. I have to be totally physically also detached, mentally detached, to be spiritually detached. So I want to give up this and I'm going into this order. And there were no Digambar Munis to teach him or preach to him. It was Kunda Kunda Samaysar that he found, and he realized things, what real Jainism is. The Guru said, you remain in the Shvetambar tradition and you teach all this. Doesn't matter. He said, I can't cheat. I have to be true to Mahavir. I have to follow Mahavir. And I cannot follow the Munihood which Samaysar talks about. So he said, I'm going. They said, please don't go. You teach. He said, I don't want to go, but you allow me to follow this. Then they told, if you leave this order, you won't get food. You're a Muni, who will give you food if you give up your monkhood? Then he is told, keeping Samaysar. If it is written in my Krambad, after reading Samaysar, he understood all this. If I am destined to get food, nobody can stop me. And if I'm not destined to get, nobody can give it to me. The same with Corona. If I'm destined to die, nobody can protect me. And if I'm destined to live, nobody can kill me. So why fear in both the cases? He became such a fearless aspirant of practicing Samaysar, and he gave discourses on Samaysar 19 times. 19 times he gave discourses on Samaysar. The Shwetambar community became against him. He spoke about the pure soul. So the Digambar community, the so-called Muni, Kriya Kand Munis also became against him. He faced so much of opposition to establish what Kunda Kunda told. So it is not easy. So when you talk about these concepts, there will be people who will say that you are going against the spirit of Jainism. It will appear. Like I told you, no, you're a pure soul. Don't worry about Bandha. Don't worry about Punya Papa. It will appear as if you're going away from Jainism, but it is not so. A true Nastic only can be a true Astic. Question everything. Go deep. Don't blindly follow. Make it, apply your logic. Read the Agam, apply your logic. Take the reasons, take the examples, verify from other sources, and then come to it. Okay, so we'll continue. I think I have done up to verse, what to say? Verse, how many verses? Just 4 verses we have proceeded, right? Okay, next class, I will take more verses. I would like you to memorize, all of you. Note down. Verse number 6. If you can't memorize, at least read it and become familiar with it. 6, 14. 6, 14. And 38. 38. These 3 verses you all try to learn for ERC. No quote from memory in exam. We'll be giving you these verses and asking you ERC, like we did in Acharang Sutra. Okay, so now I'll request Kashmira to take over the Shaktis. She will tell us. Kashmira, just let it be introductory.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so you can switch on your video, Kashmira,
Yeah,
and talk to them.
Jai Jinendra to all of you.
Jai Jinendra, ma'am.
Yeah. So, Samaysar.
1 second. You all know Kashmira, ma'am, no? You have taken some class for them, Kashmira, last semester?
This semester also she's handling ethical doctrines.
She's handling. Oh.
Yeah. So, Samaysar. Samaysar is an eye of the universe, Vishwachakshu. It is called as Vishwachakshu. It is the eye of the universe. Samaysar is considered as the main pillar of the Digambar Agams. You know why? Because it possesses the essence of lakhs of scriptures, not 1, 200,000, but many, many, many Agams, scriptures, when put together. That essence is found in Samaysar. And reading Samaysar, it said that it will not change you. Reading Samaysar does not change you. Rather, it just makes you as you. Means what? It will create your own self, what you are. We have studied in Sri Acharang Sutra, no? So that creating of who am I am a pure soul. That creation will happen reading Samaysar. The soul of Jain philosophy lies in this scripture. Such a beautiful scripture. And reading Samaysar, it will strengthen the belief of the existence of the soul. Because all these days, we know about soul. We try to understand soul. But have we ever thought, have we ever developed faith towards it from within? But this Samaysar, this Granth is so magical that once you start reading, we will create, or rather we will develop an interest in knowing one's own self. And as we all know, it contains the essence of 6 Dravya and now Tattva. And that is why, because of all this uniqueness, Samaysar is called as Kamadhenu. We know what is Kamadhenu. Kalpa Vriksha. wish fulfilling tree, which works to fulfill the wishes if followed truly and completely. And Acharya Kundakunda wrote this Samaisar around 100 AD, 1100 years back. And in the 10th century, Sri Amrit Chandra Acharya Dev, he wrote Tika on this literature, which is popular today called as Atma Khyati. There is one Samaisar Natak also written. It is called Samaisar Natak because the topics of the scriptures, as ma'am just said to us, that every time all the 9 tattva वो वेश धारण करते हैं and they play a particular role in our lives. So very shortly, the essence of, or rather the unique features of Samaisara. Before we start with the Shakti, before I start with the about Shakti, prelude to Shakti, I just want to relate one story with this. All of you listen, and with what can we relate? Okay, just we will think about it. In a small village, there was a couple who was very happy. They were very happy. Filthy rich, very good position in the society. But it is always said, no, that so sukh ke piche ek dukh. Out of 100 sukha, there is always one dukha. And that dukha was that they did not have any child. Years rolled by, they were very positive, and it so happened that the lady gave birth to a beautiful child. Slowly the months passed. The child, 9 months, 10 months old, was crawling, was very happy. Mother always looked after the child. She always had a keen eye on the child. The servants around were always helping to take care of the child, nourish the child. But one day it so happened that the child started crawling and crawling, running outside the house. And we know once the child moves away from the house, it doesn't have the knowledge to come back. So similar, it was happened here also. The child lost its way. And it saw the beautiful vehicles, roads, everything was so attracting and alluring him that he was lost. He entered some other street and he started realizing that I have no known faces are around me. As a result of which he started crying. He was hungry. The whole clothes, everything was so muddy. No one could identify him. And he entered into a place or in an area where there were a number of workers staying. So the workers heard the crying, shrill cry of the child, and everybody just brought the child to their place. Some offered water, some offered milk. And it so happened that the child stopped crying and went up to sleep. 2-3 days passed, and these workers, they were just trying to, find out that who are the parents. But they could not get the real parents. And here also the parents did their best to get the child back home, but nothing they could get to get back the child. As a result, they assumed that the child was lost. But still, the father had a hope that one or the other day I will surely meet my child. The mother was very sad. Her days were gloomy. And whenever in our house, if there are sad atmosphere, none of the servants or even the other people would like to stay with us. So there were always complaints of servants. No servants stayed in their house. One day it so happened that for business transaction, the father had to go to the other village. On the way, he entered into a tea shop. And there he was wonderstruck. He saw a small child. And as soon as he saw a small child, he started remembering his own child. He said, if my child would have been today with me, even he would be of the same age. He would be of the same height. He would be also similar. And it so happened that he called the child, asked the child that if you wish, you can come to my place. I will give you good food, good shelter. And the child said, you can talk to my owner. And the owner was called. He was given huge amount of money, and the owner readily agreed that you can take the child to your place. The child was brought home. The mother was not happy. She hastened from an Orthodox family. She knew that this child belonged to the people who are working class. So she was like, very particular about the caste. So she thought that this child is not belonging to a good family. The blood in the child is not of good family. So she always neglected the child. Anything the child used to come up with, she used to, like just fire, shout at him. So the neighbors looking at this always said, see, your child is so beautiful. Why do you shout at him? Maybe he is resembling your own child. If you had a child, maybe your child was also of the same age. Then why shout? And it so happened that the child grew up as a young lad, 16, 17 years old, and he resembled his father in every way. The curly hair, the white color, texture, skin tone, texture, everything resembled the father. As a result, the father was he had a doubt. So he straight away went to that tea shop. He asked the person that from where did you get this child? And he revealed the truth that from so and so working community, I've got this child. And just because I didn't have any servants at my place, I offered him a boarding and lodging so that he would stay here and my work will also be done. He went to that working community. He asked the person who took care of the child. And he went inside his house and brought the clothes that he was wearing on the first day that he had come. And looking at the clothes, he realized, looking at the locket, he realized, yes, this is my own son. He gave him huge money, returned home very happily, saying that I assumed that he was my child, but today, in reality, I know that he is my child only. He is my son. But the lady, instead of being happy, she started crying. And he was wonderstruck that after these many years, we have found our lost child. Instead of being happy, instead of rejoicing, why are you feeling sad? Why are you crying? And you know the reason why she was crying?
Because she didn't treat him well.
Yes, she did not treat him well. She did not allow him to study. He saw the other children studying. He wanted to study, but she did not allow him to study. He wanted to play with the other kids, but she did never allowed him to play. So the whole childhood actually went without the natural activities of a child. So what do you think? This is just a story. Whom can we relate this? Whom should we relate? Yes, very nice, very good. As the child was lost at a very tender age, similarly, we have also lost the faith. Similarly, we have also lost the faith towards our pure soul. Though the child was right in front of the parents, when he was brought home, he was right in front of the mother. But still the parents did not identify. They could not identify him as his own son. Similarly, we are also unable to identify our pure soul, though it resides within us. Atma Pradeshas is within the body. Ekakshetra Avagaha. Both of them are living in the same place, one kshetra only. But still we are not able to realize. Just as the mother neglected the child by depriving him of the good food, the good clothing, and the education, toys, friends, etc., similarly, we are also neglecting our pure soul by not being in our true nature. What is our true nature? What is our swabhava?
To know and see.
Yes, Yata Drashta. The child was actually, the charm of the house. The child would have lived like a princess. He would have lived such a princely life, but in reality, what happened? He led a life of a beggar. Similarly, all of us, we are also running behind the sensual pleasures, because of which we are also leading a life of a beggar. Early in the morning, don't you think we get up and ask our wishes to be fulfilled? We are also begging with others. We are leading a life of sukha, but not real sukha. It is only sukha bhas. Just as the mother unknowingly, she did not, do the ekatva. She did not do the ekatva with her own blood. Despite the neighbors insisted to accept her as the own son. But even then she refused. Similarly, to us also, Sudev, Suguru and Sudharma are insisting us continuously to do ekatva with our pure soul. But are we doing ekatva with swa? No. We always do ekatva with par. The moment the family did apnapan, with the lost son, they led a very happy life, though momentary. Similarly, if we do the oneness with our pure soul, we can also remain happy. How long we can remain happy? Permanent happiness will be ours. As soon as, the child got a tag of mine, that belongingness, that I belong to this people, I am the lost child of these parents, he actually got everything that he had lost. We also, from ages, from births, we have not done apnapan with the pure soul. We will see a secured, rich repository vaibhav within us only when we look at our pure self, at our pure soul. And when is this possible? When that nirnay has to happen? When can you and me do the nirnay that I am pure soul? And the moment I look at my pure soul, the real dharma begins. The swa sadhana is the national highway to acquire Ratnatraya. And without Ratnatraya, Samyak Darshan, Samyak Gyan, Samyak Charitra, believe me, all the literature, the essence of all the literature is to do oneness with our pure soul. Take up any agam, Shvetambar, Digambar, every agam essence, if you pick up, it is only this. The one who knows the self knows all. We have studied in Sri Acharanga Sutra. Not a single sermon of a Tirthankara can enable us to cross the black ocean of transmigration and suffering without knowing our pure soul. So can anyone tell the main reason for the infinite births that the Jiva has undertaken? Any reason important?
Lack of faith and lack of understanding, being with oneness.
Very nice. Rightly said. It's only and only because our main focus, attachment, my attention, and my experience, everything is related only to par and not the swa. We are more interested in knowing and seeing things outside. We are more interested in knowing and seeing the things in the mirror than understand the beauty of the mirror. We are more interested in knowing and seeing the painting made by a painter than to realize the potential of the painter. We are more interested in knowing and seeing the things around us rather than to see the seer, to know the knower, or experiencing the self. And this is the only reason why we are entangled in the web of the samsara. So at present, the oneness with par, it seems to have an upper hand. But again, it is only a matter of time. Say, for example, if we absorb into oneness with the self, do you think we will not be with, we will still be with par? Definitely not. So that can be achieved when one understands the real nature, realize the true potential of the self. See how important it is to understand my true self. Now, before diving deeper, let us understand what is Shakti. We know what is Shakti, right? Strength, power. Today, we see so many powers like muscle power, money power, technology power, nuclear power, ammunition power, etc., etc., etc. And we also see that everyone in this mundane world wants to become powerful and fulfill their endless desires. Why is it so prominent? And why is man today wanting to acquire them all? What is the main reason?
Parigraha.
Parigraha, very good. Like, we can say it's a mad race. And this whole race, if we understand it properly, we will come to know that ultimate essence, the ultimate crux is to seek happiness. Acharya Kundakund in Samaisar shows us that this happiness is temporary. He reveals the pathway for eternal happiness. Acharya Amrit Chandra, in his commentary, that is Atmakhyati, he has described the 47 Shakti. The description of 47 Shaktis has been given. In the mundane world, when someone is taught the art of making gold, he would not even wait for the sun to rise. He will not wait for the next day to come. He will start, rather experiencing or start making the gold right away. This is because the burning desire is within. Likewise, the Acharya Amrit Chandra says, as soon as one hears the word Shakti, one should develop that sense of oneness, that mindness, that it is my Shakti, it is me. It is not spoken of any other third person. It is not anybody else. It's me. And this fills us with vigor. It inspires one to tap the hidden inner potential of the self. The Shaktis, unlike the mundane powers, they are ever rising. They are everlasting. That is, it is called as Trikala Shakti. Tri means three. Kala means all the time, present, past, and the future. It is ever constant and it is ever pure. Why it is ever pure? Because it is Param-Parinamik Bhava. All the Shaktis are unique, different in their own way, but each Shakti pervades in the other. Say, for example, where there is Jnana Shakti, there is Darshan Shakti, Sukha Shakti. All the infinite Shaktis, that their Rupa is with one other. It is, as ma'am always, Priya ma'am gives us the example, a sabji is made of 50 different masalas. So even if you taste a little bit, that 50 masalas taste we can find. Similarly, all the Shaktis are pervading in one another. It is present in every jiva, including even the nigoda. And that is why it is said, Sarva jiva hai siddhasam. Means all jivas are like siddhas. That is from the Nishchay point of view. Now a question may occur that why only 47 Shaktis? Because the Shaktis are infinite. But here in this particular Agam, in this particular text, why only 47 Shaktis are given? In short, we can understand that these Shaktis are infinite, but 47 amongst those have been classified as the most prominent ones by Acharya Amrit Chandra in his experience. These 47 Shaktis, they will enable us to understand the real self, as it reveals the real identity of every jiva. It is for us to understand this nature and to highlight the importance of 47 Shaktis, which Acharya Amrit Chandra has described in the appendix of Samaisara. Acharya Kundukunda, he has given the names of the 47 Shakti, which is scattered and spread in the whole of Samaisara. But it was Acharya Amrit Chandra Dev who collected the names of this Shakti and gave a brief description of this 47 Shakti, and it is mentioned in Parisishta. Now a question may arise, why in Parisishta? To repeat again, it is of great importance. That is why in Parisishta. And it was, as I said, it was scattered in Samaisara by Acharya Kundukunda. What did he do? To unfold and to untold the whatever secrets that were given, whatever secrets that were untold and unfolded, he explained it in greater detail. And to realize the significance of these 47 Shakti, he gave it in the Parisishta. After listening to this 47 Shaktis, or after listening to this, we all of us, wish that we will manifest this Shakti. We all wish to manifest the Shakti at our earliest. But then a question may arise that how can I realize these Shaktis? Will it be possible in this fifth ara? Then Acharya Amrit Chandra ji beautifully explains. He answers that the Shaktis are eternal. It symbolizes independency. It is independent of space and time. So instead of going in the direction of how to realize the Shaktis in this fifth ara, he asks us that you focus on experiencing the self. And once we experience the self, automatically the infinite Shaktis are manifested. So Srimad Rajchandra ji beautifully says, Vidyut Lakshmi Prabhuta Patanga Ayushya Teto Jalana Taranga Purandari Chapa Ananga Ranga Shu Rachiye Tyakshanano Prasang. Which means, the meaning goes like this, that wealth is momentary, just like Vidyut, just like electricity. Power, any political or any power for that matter, is just like a kite. Within no time, the kite will tear. that momentary, that temporary it is. Life is momentary, like a water bubble, like a wave in the ocean. Sensual pleasures are momentary, like a rainbow. So all these examples shows that temporary relations are around us. When we know the temporariness, then Acharya says, why are you getting caught in the web of such temporary external relations? So the essence is that happiness obtained is momentary and obstructable from the source of per. But whereas the soul, our real identity, it is eternal. And hence the happiness obtained by experiencing this is also real, permanent, infinite, and it is unobstructable. So why not we all try to focus on Swa and manifest these Shaktis. Thank you, ma'am. Any questions?
Kashmira, give the names of the 47 Shaktis now.
Okay, ma'am. The names of the 47 Shaktis goes like this.
Kashmira, ask them to see the annexure. Annexure mein list.
Yeah, ma'am. Annexure.
Read from there and ask them to read from there.
Okay, ma'am. This book, page number 118. Third annexure, 47 properties of pure soul. The 47 properties of pure soul. The path to moksha begins with the change of perception. I think that is again introduction only. We shall straight away enter into the Jivatva Shakti. The first one is Jivatva Shakti, that which gives me life. Consciousness, it is Chiti Shakti. The second one is Chiti Shakti. Third, Drishi. Drishi means vision. Then fourth, Jnana, knowledge. Sukha Shakti, bliss. The eternal Sukh, what we are talking of, this Shakti gives us. Virya Shakti, that is the potency. Just like a seed, you know, the seed has the potential of becoming a vruksh, of becoming a tree. Similarly, we all of us have the potential of becoming Paramatma. Then supreme sovereignty, that is Prabhutva. We all are Prabhu only. We all are Paramatma only. Then Vibhutva, all pervasiveness. Sarvadarshi, omnivision. The Ananta Chatushtaya we say, no, the four Chatushtaya. So, Sarvadarshi. Sarvagya, omniscient. Transparency is Swachatva. Then Prakashatva. Prakashatva means self-illumination. Unlimited potential. Asankuchit Vikasatva Shakti. Asankuchit means right now we feel that, you know, we are Vikari Paryay. How can I get into that Ananta Shakti, Ananta Jnana, Ananta Darshan, or Keval Jnana, Keval Darshan? But this Shakti says, look, you have the potential of becoming Ananta Shaktiman, that is Ananta Jnani, Ananta Darshan. Then Akarya Karanatva Shakti, that is non-causative nature. Knower and knowable, Parinamya Parinamatva Shakti. Then Tyagopadana Shunyatva Shakti, non-discarding and non-acquisition. self-perception, aguru lagutva. 18th Shakti is appearance and disappearance, utpad vyay dravyatva Shakti. Then Parinama Shakti, 19th one is Parinama, changeability. 20th, abstract, Amurta. 21, inactivity, Akartutva. 22nd, power of non-absorption experience, that is Abhoktrutva. 23rd, untremulous, that is Nishkriyatva Shakti. I am Nishkriya, doing nothing. Self-pervading. Self-pervading is Niyata Pradeshatva Shakti. Then 25th, Sarva Dharma Vyapakatva Shakti. That is self-pervading. 26th, Sadharan Asadharan, Sadharan Asadharan Dharmatva Shakti. That is again common, uncommon, and common, uncommon. 27th, infinite nature. That is Ananta Dharmatva Shakti. 28th, Viruddha Shakti. 29th and 30 together, Tattva Shakti or Atattva Shakti. Then 31, oneness, Ekatva. 32, manifoldness, that is Anekatva. 33, existence of current state, that is Bhava, Bhava Shakti. Then 34, disappearance of the current state, Bhava Bhava Shakti. 36, existence of emergence of new state, Abhava Bhava. And 37, existence of pure nature, Bhava Bhava Shakti. Then 38, absence of impure nature, Abhava Abhava Shakti. 39, self-induced causation, Bhava Shakti. 40, it is Kriya Shakti. 41, Karma Shakti. 42, Kartutva Shakti. That is infinite power of a performer, Karta. 43, instrument, Karana. 44, obligations to self. That is Sampradana Shakti. The Shatkarak, what we read, no? 6 causation. That Karta, Karma. So obligation to self, Sampradana. And 45, inexhaustible treasure, Apadan Shakti. 46, self-refuge, Adhikarana Shakti. And 47, the last Shakti, Sambandha Shakti, self-owned relationship. That is Swaswami Sambandha Shakti. I am my own Swami. I am my own teacher, master. So this is explained in the Parisishta of Samay Sara, Atmakhyati Tika. Okay, any question?
Not a question, madam, but certainly needs certain clarity. Maybe we can take it later. On the 14th Shakti, it says it's a non-causative nature, which is Akriya Karana.
Karanatva Shakti, yes, sir.
So, which means if it's a non-causative in nature, but it's been told that one is an instrumental reason for, the soul is based on instrumental reason, not the primary reason, but the secondary reason for continuing in the samsara. But these two are not able to correlate.
Yeah.
If jiva is a non-causative in nature,
yeah,
then which means that neither it is doing nor it is making others to do, or it's anyway related with other thing, then where is this instrumental code coming from?
Yeah. This is just in Vyavhar we say that I have done this, Karta, I was the Karta. But here in this Shakti says, you cannot be a Karta. Why? Because everything is, just now ma'am explained us, no, Priya ma'am, that everything is happening with Krambadha. I am not the Karta of anybody. I can only be an instrument. I can only be an instrument. I can become nimitta, but I cannot become the karta of anything. Okay, so that is akartatva. I am neither, I'm not the doer also, neither I am the causal factor. Both.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello,
Thank you, ma'am.
Ravi.
Ma'am, thank you so much, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am.
Do we continue the class?
Yes, ma'am.
They need the Zoom ID for another meeting.
Yes, ma'am. I finished, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah. You're done, no?
Yes, ma'am. I'm done, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
See, what she's done is she's just told you about the Shaktis. The detailing we have to read in Samesa. Okay, now this book will help you. This lecture should help you to read Samesa and find out the meaning of these Shaktis from the from the Prakrit, from the Sanskrit, from the English translations and Tamil translations, whatever you can access. Okay, so thank you, Kashmira ji, for this lecture.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much,
all.
ma'am.
And Kajal will continue next Friday. Just call me up, Kajal.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.